All right. Then our next speaker today is Tony Samarco from Device Solutions, speaking to emergency digital paging. Tony?
Hello, I'm Tony Samarco, Director of Technology Strategy with Device Solutions. I'm joined here with our CEO and co-founder, Chris Lamb. Thanks, Dusty and Chris. We're thrilled to be invited to the First Responder Showcase to inform you about our successful Phase 2 contract completion and Phase 3 pursuits for the commercialization of our emergency digital paging system over ATSC 3 next-gen TV broadcast. ATSC 3 is the latest digital broadcast standard being rolled out by public and private TV broadcasters in support of higher resolution and more secure IP datacasting services. Our goal is to provide a low-cost, low-power ATSC 3 receiver to improve situational awareness and provide reliable, redundant communications via ATSC 3 broadcast emergency digital paging. All right, let's see if I can get the screen to change here. There we go. So during NSF I-Corps, we interviewed over 100 firefighters, medical responders, emergency equipment manufacturers, and state emergency services IT departments to focus on what needs to be addressed by a new paging technology. Digital two-way radios are expensive. Most fire departments can't afford and are dependent on a more affordable paging device at a lower cost. In rural fire departments, sometimes only the officers carry two-way radios, so responders rely on their pagers, and by depending only on today's pager technology, safety can be compromised. Today's emergency paging limits situational awareness for emergency responders in a few ways. So there are certainly coverage and reliability issues, system interruptions, and latency, which results in delayed delivery of the emergency paging messages. And the non-secure data path for the transmitted data can limit the ability to send additional information regarding patient health risks. There's minimal interoperability to neighboring and statewide systems, and it's also not viable to solely rely on commercial cellular services for mission-critical communications. CAD-E 911 call centers are largely non-standardized and unique for each vendor installation, which has made interoperability difficult, and the normalization of the data from multiple vendors is an enormous challenge. So who benefits from the new technology? So state and county emergency services, organizations that rely on real-time emergency notifications, such as first responders, firefighters, police, and ambulance. Organizations that need a reliable primary or backup emergency paging system. Federal organizations such as the DoD, FEMA, U.S. Coast Guard, USDA, U.S. Forest Services, AWARN. NOAA alerts can be ported to the digital broadcast for reception by the receivers. And in addition, those needing to update non-real-time digital data like data casting use cases, such as distance-based learning, updates to training materials, and updates to device software and device configuration. So we are seeing that use cases have expanded well beyond the emergency paging, and broadcasters, digital-based learning entities, drone companies are all exploring applications that can be served by this technology as well. So today's paging technology is primarily analog UHF, VHF pager-based and cellular-based applications. There are certainly coverage issues, systems interruptions, and latency. Analog paging tones add considerably to the time it takes to get an emergency page to a first responder. Non-secure data paths and minimal interoperability, like we discussed, are also problematic. There do exist cellular data and cell phone applications, but these systems also face challenges with coverage, reliability, and latency. These private systems also don't contribute to improved ISO ratings for fire departments, which impacts public insurance rates as they're not controlled by a government partner. Commercial cellular or commercial paging services are not approved by organizations such as the National Fire Protection Agency and Insurance Service Organization, ISO, who provide guidance on communication systems. So referring to the needs we discovered in the 100+ interviews we conducted during I-Corps, we boiled them down to the following customer requirements. A reliable, redundant data path is essential. The latency from when the messages leave the CAD to when it's received by the emergency responder should be less than 10 seconds. Coverage should be 100% with in-building penetration. The data must be secure, which will enable the transmission of additional data to support improved situational awareness. There must be regional and statewide interoperability to mitigate having to support multiple systems or carry multiple receivers and radios. The ability to provision the receivers to only display what is desired by that pager. Integration of GPS location-based services, and delivery of video and audio streams to help improve situational awareness, such as up-to-date real-time delivery of digital images of pre-plans rather than having to go through hard copies and binders. So here's a look at the ecosystem. I'm going to see if you can see can you see the red dot, Chris?
Not yet. If you move it over the slide, we should be able to see your cursor.
Yep, I'm hovering over the slide right now.
Nope. I saw your cursor earlier, but not now.
Okay, let me go by this.
Yes,
Oops.
that I can see.
Okay, now you can see my cursor?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here's a look at the solution ecosystem that we built to accomplish the phase 2 goals. So an emergency pager comes in to the E91 call center. We developed a data normalization server, which normalizes the CAD data from multiple E911 call centers and manages all the traffic to be broadcast. Sends the paging data through custom APIs optimized for the emergency paging application here to the transport encoder. At the transport encoder, right here, the data is encrypted to ensure secure transmission to be sent to the ATSC 3 broadcaster. Public TV broadcasters have proven coverage and are extremely reliable with no downtime during emergency events. With very low latency, the pager devices then receive the data for which they are provisioned. The low-cost reference design receiver that we built are twofold. A paging receiver right here, which is a standalone, which contains a speaker, display, UI navigation, and menus, more aligned with the traditional pagers used today. And up here, a receiver-only product with a Bluetooth interface that pairs with a smartphone to provide data to a new smartphone application, which takes advantage of the capabilities of the smartphone, such as integrated turn-by-turn map directions, text-to-speech, specific alert tones, etc. Oops, there we go. Receivers are provisioned to filter the broadcast data and only present the pages desired by that end user. For example, only show me fire pages from my county, or show me everything from these 3 fire stations. Both solutions provide better situational awareness and a more reliable, secure data path at a comparable cost to today's two-way radios. Okay. So 4 key feature areas were the subject of the phase 2 proof of concept: improved coverage, reduced latency, secure data, and interoperability. Each feature area addresses the core requirements established to address the shortcomings of the existing technology and define the scope and objects for the phase 2 project. So let's discuss these benefits and how they offer comparable and improved performance over the existing technology. So improved coverage. Once ATSC 3 is launched in additional markets, coverage will be greatly improved over the existing systems, including in-building penetration. Our testing partners, PBS North Carolina and private broadcaster Capital Broadcasting in Raleigh, have proven to be extremely reliable with no downtime. With great coverage and flexibility, the ATSC 3 broadcast provides redundant data path to the existing applications, which improves ISO ratings. So for the reduced latency, from when CAD data leaves the dispatch center to when the receiver displays the page, our live field testing has shown latency of less than 10 seconds, providing a huge advantage over the existing analog voice paging and cellular-based paging systems. Secure data. To improve situational awareness, the IP-based paging data is easily filtered by the provision pagers and are easily stored, replayed, and updated with simple UI navigation. And interoperability, as the ATSC3 broadcast covers a much wider area, pages from neighboring departments can be received simply by programming the device to receive them. So where are we in the current state of development? So phase 2 was completed in April of this year. More on that in a second. Since then, we've been focused on establishing contact with emergency equipment partners and with established market positions and distribution networks to integrate the technology into their portfolio, not only on the receiver, but in the smartphone application and in the normalization server space as well, to enable a cost-effective, scalable solution for commercialization. We've also been working with DHS SBIR on a CRPP application to extend testing to more interested partners outside the state of North Carolina and gather more data on latency and scalability. So what did we accomplish in phase 2? We built the 2 receivers that we showed earlier, and we developed a prototype data normalization server to connect to multiple PSAPs, normalize the data, and send the data to the broadcast entity. We successfully performed end user testing with the firefighters and emergency responders with live real-time pages across the state in 3 distinct regions, coastal, Piedmont, and the mountains, over multiple months. We validated the receiver's antenna performance at each location, each with their own distinct challenges, including urban interference, distance versus penetration trade-offs with various mod cods, mountainous regions with repeater translator sites. And it's important that there were no unapproved interruptions in the commercial broadcast, since we are sharing the same broadcast transmission. Our receivers exceeded performance expectations compared to the existing solutions. There were no missed pages during our trial, and the latency observed was greatly reduced. All the end users were very pleased with coverage, latency, and reliability. So together with our partners and the support of DHS, it was a successful phase 2, and it was a successful test with EMS personnel per our objectives. In this picture, you see 2 very happy end users from Eastern North Carolina that participated in live testing, Fire Chief Moore and Emergency Services Director. They continued to use the test system through June, even though the phase 2 testing concluded in March. So quick story, when we delivered the provisioned receivers to the Winterville Fire Department and were reviewing the receiver operations with the team, our receiver alerted a medical emergency. Chief Moore asked, "Is this a real page or is this a demo?" I said it was real, and 10 seconds later, the alarm in the station and on their receivers went off. As the team got up to roll, they smiled and looked back at us and said, "Now that's impressive." So the Winterville Fire Department was very happy, and they did not miss a single page. So our value proposition is being the technology supplier and licensing the technology to partners for the design, manufacture, and distribution of the end user product. So key to success is to secure our emergency equipment partner that has an established market position and distribution network. They will bring expertise in sales, marketing of the end user product, and establish distribution channels. We would monetize through the licensing fees and annual maintenance fees. So there are factors to consider for market growth. State government buy-in and funding is required to support the development on public TV, deployment on public TV. We've had great support from PBS North Carolina and the state of North Carolina First Responders Emergency Technology Program. Private broadcasters of ATSC3 are also interested. Standardizing data formats between the CAD PSAP vendors and normalization servers to support the broadcast is also underway and must be completed. And of course, the rollout of ATSC3 must be available in market. So the project received great attention nationally through government publications and awards. We were given awards by industry agencies. We're proud to announce that in April of this year, The solution won the National Association of Broadcasters 2023 Technology Innovation of the Year Award. We were invited by DHS to demo our project at IWCE in March, and the project has been featured in published articles by DHS S&T and by the Government Computer News. We are currently participating in the Phase 3 CAM, and as mentioned earlier, working with DHS on a CRPP application to extend testing to outside the state of North Carolina. So to wrap up, we're focused on establishing contact with emergency equipment providers with established market positions, not only for the receiver, but for the smartphone application and normalization server. National exposure has been fantastic and has been helping drive the opportunity for additional use cases. And we continue to get feedback and contacts as we continue our efforts through DHS and the CRPP. We ask that you please reach out to us to share our project with your contacts in the first responder community, and let us help you be safer and save lives. So about Device Solutions, we were co-founded in 2003 by Chris Lamb, our CEO. We're in Morrisville, North Carolina in Research Triangle Park. Here is our contact information, and we look forward to your insight and continued support during our Phase 3 effort. So at this time, Chris Lamb and I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.